So, last where we left off, our group of intrepid adventurers were learning how to manage their bar, and on top of that, they had been invited by several factions to join their organizations and do a bit of work for them. We know that Dare and Merrick were out and about doing some work for Blackstaff, if I'm not mistaken. These names are a little hard to remember.
Yes.
And you ended up going up a mountain and getting a bit of information. A very vague information at that. And then you went down the mountain and you got a point of exhaustion out of it. You also were visited by people wanting work in your tavern. You did mention to them that you were expecting some free labor from family members. And Merrick, you did notice from a insight check that something was up about these halflings. You weren't sure what, though.
I don't think I like halflings.
Merrick has some prejudices against his own kind.
Not impossible. I'm prejudiced towards humanity, so... As a player, not as a character.
And as for Bonecarver, he was getting started on his own mission for the Emerald Enclave, where they asked him to take care of some scarecrows that had been brought to life by some unknown force, and they was killing the livestock of the particular section of Waterdeep, the more rural section. So, during their investigation, they decided to do a stakeout, and they spotted a scarecrow moving on its own, jumping on the stick it was tied to, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Jon that decided to approach the scarecrow.
I think the words I used were grapple.
Grapple. And as you approached, the scarecrow snapped its head towards you, and we begin initiative. So I don't believe we rolled initiative for this.
We did not.
Not yet.
So let us roll initiative.
There we go.
And the scarecrow has one more than I do.
They were all quite close together. Jon has 8, Scarecrow has a 9, I have an 11.
Yeah, so the scarecrow gets to go just right before. As I approach it, I will have shouted though. Can I still say that? Or
Yeah.
because that's kind of what I and Bonecarver agreed. So
well, it's basically what Jon would do regardless, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it depends how he would react to a scarecrow with glowing eyes suddenly glaring at you.
I was looking for a scarecrow and I found it.
Okay, so Bonecarver, at the beginning of the initiative, you're up. You hear some noises in the distance. What do you do?
Well, Jon is still holding my one of my javelins, which is glowing. So I can from 30 feet see pretty well what's going on.
You are inside a cornfield.
That makes it a bit more difficult, yes.
So I would ask you to roll a perception check to see if you notice anything going on.
Oh dear. Nope.
No.
That's a natural one.
Okay, so
I keep searching.
yes, you're free to do that. You do hear some noises. You're uncertain what that is, though, or even where the origin is.
Yeah, but I don't even know what the origin is. So I guess I'll hold my actions to if I notice the location of an enemy, I will throw my javelin at it. That's my hold action.
Okay. Next up in the order is the scarecrow.
Yeah.
So, Jon, as the scarecrow glares at you with an intense gaze, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw. Jon,
Yes.
a wisdom saving throw. All right. Here we go. That's a 21.
Whoa!
That's a natural 20.
well, that went across the spectrum quickly.
So what happens is you feel something trying to creep in towards you, but you know what? You're not going to get scared by a mass of hay and sticks. You resist this terrifying presence that the scarecrow is trying to instill within you. That was the scarecrow's action. That's all it can do. So you're up, Jon.
Jon will just shout, "You're just a stick!" And he rages and tries to basically grapple it and lift it up.
Okay. Roll an athletics check.
Since I'm raging, that would be with advantage, right?
Yes, that is with advantage.
Cool. Go. Seriously? Seriously. 11 on both my rolls.
Well, let's see how the scarecrow does.
Then you will see.
It barely saves. Okay.
Ah.
It definitely jumps away from you trying to grasp at it, and its stick just sinks slightly into the soil. Bonecarver, you suddenly hear Jon scream out, "You're just a stick."
I know enough. I'm running that direction.
Okay. So go ahead and start advancing. We'll say like 20 feet into it, you bust out of the cornfield, and you see the scarecrow.
I would still have enough movement for that, right?
Yeah.
It's 30 feet. It's not
Yeah, you
difficult
can move
terrain
like
because
30
it's a
feet.
cornfield.
You can move like up to the scarecrow's face. So
Okay. So I drop the javelin. It'll be very easy to find later on. Draw the dagger, slash at it, and be like, "I can't eat you." So dagger.
I'll say for the purposes of like putting the javelin at your feet, you can just like stab it into the floor. The soil's like soft enough to just hold it.
That works. I rolled a 24 to hit.
That hits.
Good.
Go ahead and roll damage.
That's 5 piercing damage.
Okay. You stab into the soft burlap that is its chest. You see a little bit of hay spill out. And you notice that, actually, roll one more time in case you crit, because you are flanking.
Oh, okay. Nope.
Okay.
Definitely not.
So the scarecrow is now aware of your presence, and you see as its
I
arms
reckon.
just break off of the bindings it had, and you see these large, spindly claws emerge from its fingertips. Will that be your turn?
I don't think I can do anything else.
Okay. Next
I
up,
can do
Scarecrow.
both.
So it's going, seeing that you just shanked it, it's going to claw at you twice.
Oh,
17 and 11.
both fail to hit.
17 doesn't hit you?
I know. I have an AC of 18. Suck it.
Okay.
It's the shield.
It slashes at your shield, but none of those attacks land, surprisingly. You're lucky it didn't have advantage because one of those was a crit.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, wait. I forgot a particular feature about this thing. I'll remember that moving forward.
You don't have to.
Okay, you're up, Jon.
Jon is getting really frustrated with the stick thing and he tries to grapple it again.
Okay, roll athletics at advantage. This thing will try to escape.
Please, that would be better. 24.
You have it grappled.
Cool.
So you are holding the stick.
Yes. You're not going anywhere.
So while you have it grappled, just to mention all the effects it's under, a creature's speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. The condition ends if the grappler is incapacitated, and it also ends, let's see, if the creature is moved away. The effect will end if the creature is like shoved away by some sort of force or spell or something along those lines. Okay, will that be your turn?
Yes. Can't do my shells.
Okay, so Bonecarver, you just notice Jon walk up to the scarecrow and lift the stick up.
Grappling a
basically how he
scarecrow
has
is
it
so
grappled.
stupid.
For a moment, Bogar just pauses. He's like, ah. And then just tries to shank it again.
Okay,
Which should be
roll
with
an
advantage, right?
attack. Yes, still at advantage.
Because, especially now because he's restrained.
Yep. Well, he's not restrained, he's grappled. Restrained is something different.
Yeah, okay.
You still hit, though.
24 will still hit, right?
Yep.
6 piercing damage.
Okay, so I didn't bring this up last time, but as you sink the dagger in, it doesn't sink as much as you thought it would, and not as much hay as you expect comes out. We're just assuming the hay is blood at this point.
Okay.
But you do a bit of damage.
Okay, so it's resistant.
Okay, and I guess now it's the scarecrow's turn. Seeing that you're still trying to shank it, it's going to try and claw you. Does a 20 hit? Well, you take 4 points of slashing damage.
It could be worse. Still, ow.
Okay, and the scarecrow is starting to look a bit frustrated with how its attacks aren't really making much of an impact on anything.
I know cow, you stick.
John, you have the scarecrow in your grasp.
I will shove the scarecrow into the ground, knocking it prone. If I
Okay.
actually succeed.
Go for it. I believe that's another athletics check.
Yes.
Okay,
12.
let's see.
Let's see what a scarecrow
Yeah, it's on the
does.
floor. It rolled a 3.
Nice. Nice.
Actually, it rolled a 2. It just has a +1 to that.
Uh,
There's a scarecrow on the floor, prone.
nice. So that means it has disadvantage now. Finally.
Yeah, it has disadvantage on its attacks. It'll need to use half its speed to get up, and
It can't.
You're
That's-
still grappling it.
Oh,
I've
that's
grappled it.
right.
Yes, that's the thing about grapple.
oh yeah,
Go.
it can use half its speed, but it has no speed because it's grappled. So
Yeah.
You can't. Nice. That actually makes it useful.
Yes. And if only I could have done this like in the first turn.
Okay, Bonecarver, you're up.
Bonecarver is certainly frustrated that his weapons don't seem to do much, but it doesn't have anything that doesn't pierce. John, you don't have like a sword on you or anything, right?
Sword. I don't think so. Why?
Roll an Arcana check, Bonecarver.
Okay, that's gonna end terribly. 13, not as terribly as I thought.
You have a feeling that it's not so much the piercing damage that it was resistant to. It was the fact that it was just physical damage in itself.
I see.
Bonecarver rolled a 13, by the way.
That case. Oh dear. So does being prone and grappled also give you disadvantage in saving throws?
Let me look up for prone.
So if I use Word of Radiance, which is checks against the Constitution saving throw, it would be the disadvantage for
Oh,
him.
I thought you were gonna use Sacred Flame and make it go Dex.
don't
Constitution
have
is a
Sacred Flame.
little different.
No, fair
I'll
enough.
say it's a standard roll for that.
In that case, I'll just try to shank it again. So I don't really have any damaging attacks yet.
Okay.
I will also use one spell slot to cast this on myself. It's a bonus action.
Okay. A +2 to AC. Okay.
Because hey,
You never know.
I wanted to be a tank, like an actual tank. Now, and I'm going to try and stab it again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the attack. At advantage.
Does 20 hit?
20 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
7 piercing damage. Oh, it's steadily going up.
Okay. Yeah, you see the scarecrow's taking a bit of a hit. And will that be your turn?
Yes.
Okay. Scarecrow, seeing that, John, you have it grappled, he's going to try and glare at you again, stare at you in the eyes, and
Oh,
you're going to make
dear.
another wisdom saving throw.
Okay, here we go. 13.
13 saves.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. I
It
have
is
a feeling-
not this scarecrow's day.
Yes.
Then it shouldn't have come at night.
Okay.
I
Your
think
turn,
you
John.
should go back to scaring crows.
Does that do burn damage?
I'll say it takes 1 point of psychic damage from the sick burn.
Yes.
John will drop the javelin and use his free hand to pull out his spear and just stab it through the cloth somewhere. Where I
Okay.
think its head is, basically.
Roll an attack. That hits.
26. Yeah, that
You are
should hit.
rolling. You are all rolling very high for your attack.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just imagine like these two huge creatures that's looming over the scarecrow, just stabbing it over and over again.
No, I feel
Go
sorry
ahead
for
and
the
roll
scarecrow.
damage.
Yes.
It's killed cattle. Don't feel sorry.
Yeah, that's 2 rage damage and 11 piercing damage. Yes.
Okay.
That says
So
11
that's a
piercing.
total of 13 damage,
Wow.
and you're with a regular spear.
Yeah.
So that's 7 points of damage.
6, I think. I think it's rounded down by default.
I'm pretty sure it rounds up.
I'm fine.
I'm fine with rounding up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep in mind it also rounds up for enemies.
Yeah, it's not relevant
Yeah.
yet.
I mean, it's relevant for Jon, I guess.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure I won't get hit at all.
This scarecrow's looking pretty beat up.
It should.
Bonecarver, you're up.
It's been working so far. Stabby stabby. 23.
Roll damage.
5.
You know what? I'm just gonna say that you kill it here. How do you wanna finish it?
It's a scarecrow. It's a stick with some hay.
I'm basically just so annoyed that I think Dad hit me while it's just a stare. I just keep on stabbing until there's like it's splattered all over the field. Just
Hey.
keep tearing, and eventually I just drop the dagger once it's dead, just start tearing chunks out. And
Had this been a fleshy being, it would look terrifying and gruesome.
yes,
But there's hay everywhere. There's scraps of cloth. There's a little bit of hay just like sprinkled around your body and on Jon just because he was caught in like the splash zone.
well, if it was a fleshy being, I would have eaten it. So
You see the scarecrow fall limp and this like soft green glow escape it. And you feel that whatever presence was inside this scarecrow is now gone.
I noticed that quite late.
Yes, you do.
John probably actually
So now-
noticed it first.
All that's left is what remains of the scarecrow's claws, some hay, and a creepy-looking cloth mask face.
Can I check to see if any of that is magical?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation.
Well, it's as bad as Arcana, so whatever. 16. It shouldn't have advantage, but it was the first roll anyway.
You find inside the chest of the scarecrow a small little dull stone. You definitely find it to be magical, based from like the very dim glow, but the light quickly fades, the glow vanishes.
Can I see anything about the stone? Runes or anything?
With that check, I would say that there aren't really any distinguishing features in it. It's like some sort of like on one side it looks like a regular rock, but on the other side you notice that like the glow came from some sort of runes inscribed into it.
Okay.
But otherwise there's nothing else you can find. That is one scarecrow down.
So I look up at John and ask, "Are you alright?"
Yes, yes. When anyone asks, this was a hay golem. A very, very big hay golem. Like 9 feet tall.
I
brushes off all
certainly
the hay.
understand so much more. Should we go find the others or go back? Because there's more than one of them out here, apparently.
Yes, this is true.
Also, I take my spear back. Javelin.
Okay, so we're gonna say, let's switch over to Dare and Merrick. So, moving back to Dare and Merrick, we'll say that like by the time Bonecarver and Jon go out on their little mission to murder scarecrows, you guys wake up from your long rest after climbing a mountain. It is around nighttime. What do you do?
So Dare hasn't actually told anyone else that she's going to the opera. So her plan at this point is just to get changed into some appropriate clothing and head out.
Okay, did you describe your fancy attire last session?
I think I did. I can't exactly remember what I said. I think it was a sort of velvet tunic and very highly polished boots and probably a cloak. I actually can't remember now.
Let's just say it's that.
Yeah.
All I remember is it wasn't a dress.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a dress.
So, we'll say that earlier in the day during just like while you were out and about, you inquired about the situation or the location of this particular opera house. The location is Lightsinger Theater.
Mm-hmm.
and you know it to be a high-end establishment located in the castle ward. Do you rent a cab, or do you go there on foot?
Rent a cab.
Okay, go ahead and subtract 1 copper from your wealth.
Okay.
As the car stops at this opera house, you notice that it is indeed a very high-end establishment. You are thankful for your attire because you do appear to blend in with the general population. Despite the fact that you are a tiefling, Waterdeep does have a colorful variety of races here, so you're not too out of place, even though like your kind is rare. In fact, you do get a few passing compliments about your attire. And as you approach the entrance, they ask for your ticket. So as you present your ticket to the ticket taker, a lot of T's there, their eyes widen slightly. They open a different door, and he greets you and says, "Here's the VIP section, miss." And a few people spare glances towards you, going like, "Oh, they have the VIP seats, that they must be pretty rich."
At which point, Dare would probably wave at them.
Some of them wave back. So you go into the building. It is a little bit outside of your usual experiences. You notice that the opera is already started. You find the seat that is assigned to you according to your ticket, and it is actually a private box. And in there you find a individual sitting there. You see a how do I describe him? I'm just looking at his picture. How do I describe this guy? The first thing that comes to mind is like what would come into your head if someone were to describe a dashing pirate. However, like, he's retired and has spent the last few years maybe eating. Maybe a little bit too much, but he definitely looks like he is maintained that air of like, how do I say this? Like, he has like a very Jack Sparrow like quality to him. I'm just gonna show you what he looks like. You notice a black hat over his head and a fine fur cape draped over one shoulder, and underneath you see this green shirt, and we'll just say he has that rapier with him. Not a rapier, he has a cutlass. And you see that it's decorated with all sorts of jewels, and he there's just like everything about this character is just regal, but at the same time he did invite you to talk, so you have a feeling that maybe there's a little bit of like I'm not even sure, I'm just like staring at his face like, what do I do? What do I get from this guy?
Just mention the magnificent mustache he has.
He has a very magnificent mustache. Okay, roll a history check.
Okay. That is 16.
You've heard of this person. He was actually a former adventurer known as Mirt. M-I-R-T. You know him, like his reputation is a bit of one of the more prominent ones in Waterdeep. Though nowadays he is more of a philanderer than an actual adventurer. One of the things you know about him is that he does have quite a bit of status in the city. You also know that his legends kind of span centuries.
Okay.
So you are very certain that he is very old, and it is very unnatural for a human like him to be this old.
Okay. Is Mert waiting for Dare, or is he watching the opera?
He appears to be focused on the opera right now. You see him with these those little binoculars that are attached to like a handle.
Okay, is there a spare seat?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Right next to him.
So at this point, Dare will take a seat, and she will also get some opera glasses if there are any going.
There are. Mert actually offers some to you.
Excellent, so I'll take those. She nods in gratitude, but doesn't say anything because he seems to be engaged in the opera. So Dare will have a look around the auditorium instead and see if there's anyone else interesting in there.
Roll a perception check.
Okay, 19.
You notice that most people here are very obviously wealthy. You notice a few people that seem more in the higher echelons of society. You don't exactly recognize their names, but you just know that they're like pretty important people. As far as the opera goes, I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no idea what it wants me to say about the fall of Tiamat. I've never heard about any of this, and there's nothing about it on the notes.
It's a very sad tale. Poor dragon.
It's okay, I don't think Dare is a fan of opera.
And it's sung in Giant, so I don't know if you speak Giant.
No.
Wow.
So it's
How would that
it's
even
a
sound?
bunch of. I could look up how Giant sounds, but you know what? I'm just gonna say it's this very coarse and guttural type of language, and actually, when it's sung out by people, it's quite nice. It's a little bit like a combination of very aggressive, like what you would picture Viking shouting, but kind of weaved into a sort of song that is actually kind of pleasant. It's kind of like when you hear a rock song and you're not into rock, but you're like, huh, this is all right.
So like a haka.
I was
Yeah.
actually picturing the haka, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, picture that, but with a bit more of a narrative.
Fair.
There's a definite narrative here. You're not sure what it is, though, but you know that is Tiamat, because there's no other dragon deity with a bunch of heads. At least to your knowledge.
Okay, that's good enough. So Dare at this point is resisting the urge to put her feet up on the edge of the box, but decides it's probably not the done thing at the opera.
Okay. There is a lull in the performance, and you see the curtains close, but it doesn't seem like it's ended. You feel as if it's just an intermission. During that time, you see Mert put down the opera glasses, and you notice, now that you can finally see his eyes, that it looks like he's seen better days. When you heard stories about him, you pictured like an adventure filled with energy, and despite like his implied immortality, it does feel like he has this very tired gaze about him. And so he glances over to you. And then he says, "So, you're interested then?"
Yes. Although I have to be honest and say that the opera tickets didn't really come with many instructions. I don't exactly know what I'm signing up for.
Yeah, that's expected. He adjusts himself in the seat. I work, or my associates, he says it with a little bit of a tired voice. We're known as the Harpers. Raynar mentioned you, and I figured you'd be a good fit for our type of work. I'll say it plain and simple. We need spies. And he mentioned you being not a half-bad sneak yourself.
Well, I'll take that compliment. Although I'm not sure a tiefling is always the least conspicuous of individual.
Well, based on my experience, and trust me, I have quite a bit in the staying unseen department, there are ways to make you less noticed. We don't just offer employment, we also offer opportunity to advance in your particular fields of expertise. We can provide some resources and training.
I'd certainly be interested in that. May I ask, if you don't consider this rude, who would I be spying for? What are you doing with the information your spies bring back?
At the moment, we have issues with the Zentarum, and to be honest, that would be one of your first assignments should you accept them. Finding the identity of a Cent operative. Though, I can give more details if you're actually interested.
I certainly am. We have actually run into them before, myself and my colleagues.
Fantastic. So, he sits up a little bit. He takes out a little note. Then he hands it to you. Details are in there. Unfortunately, we can't give much else. That's also why we need a spy. We need them to find what we couldn't, at least with our resources stretched thin as they are. Well, enjoy the opera, and then he gets back up, and then he says, "It's fucking boring if you ask me," and then he walks away. And you hear him grumble as he walks out. I don't even fucking speak giant.
Dare just beckons to the nearest usher and says, "Would you be able to get me a drink?"
Yes, ma'am. And he walks off. You're alone in the box seat with the note.
Okay, let's have a look at this note then.
Okay, so there are two important pieces of information on this note. One of them is that the first one is, if you ever need to speak to me directly, you assume that's from Mert, you can find me in my manor in the Sea Ward. And what the note says is as follows. One of the drays working in the city is pulled by a talking mare named Maxine. Locate her, find out if she's learned the identity of any Zent operatives, and if so, determine their whereabouts. And that's all the note says.
Okay. Are talking horses common in Waterdeep?
No.
I don't know whether to take this note literally or not.
Well, here's the thing. Magic is a thing. And, would you say that you've had any inclinations for magic? Like, any interest in learning or learning about it?
Yeah, potentially.
Then you'd say that, like, maybe in, like, some dabbling and studying that you've found that weirder things have happened.
Fair enough.
So, you now have your mission. You can do as you like. You can continue watching the opera or whatever suits your fancy. A few minutes later, a assistant arrives with a glass of wine. I don't know what they serve in operas.
Probably wine.
Okay.
Dare takes the wine and thanks the usher and drains it in one gulp and gets up to leave.
The usher takes your glass and does a quick little bow as you leave.
Okay, at this point I will head back to Troll's Skull Manor.
Okay. Nothing really eventful happens on the way. You head back to the manor. You notice that the manor is, or tavern, is now closed, but Liff opens the door for you as he sees you coming. Though to you, the door just kind of opens.
Do I assume that was Liff letting me in?
Yeah, you can assume that. Like, you've seen all day him opening doors for people and taking their coats. So, at this point, it's starting to become commonplace.
Thanks, Liff. I'm assuming I still can't see him because Bonecarver's the only one who can.
Yeah, he's still, like, he's very much invisible, but for simplicity's sake, he has taken to wearing a hat.
Oh. Okay.
So you see a floating hat.
Okay, I will wave towards the hat.
And you see, like, the hat raise up a little bit and then settle back down on his invisible head.
We should, like, dress him up.
So the tavern is silent. Bonecarver and Jon, you two said you were heading back to the tavern?
We're still discussing that.
I think we were still discussing that.
Okay, let's bounce back to you to see what you decided on. So, you're in the fields.
How long have we been there so far?
Since the scarecrow died or since you got there?
Since I got there.
I'm uncertain how long you guys were waiting for the scarecrow. We'll say like 2 hours.
Okay. Which would put us at what time?
I'll say... Because honestly, I don't remember what time it was I said for last session.
I think...
But I'll say it's around 9 p.m.
Oh, in that case, I guess we could look for the others as well.
Yes, I'd rather get this over and done with. There's
Yes!
not much glory to be had in fighting scarecrows.
I just give him a glance. I was like, I understand what you say, but we are saving lives and food.
Which is why I said they were straw golems. So let's go find the other two straw golems. And that's what they are, and nothing else.
We will find these golems.
As you're talking, roll perception.
Perception 15.
Okay.
Ho!
I'm still on advantage. Let's take the lowest one, which is still 20.
Okay. So, Bonecarver, you hear just like this weird groaning noise, maybe. You're not sure. Like, you think it might be a cow noise. Meanwhile, Jon, you definitely hear in the distance just a more. And you know exactly which direction it is. And it sounds somewhat distressed.
Bonecarver, I think I heard the death cry of a cow. Should we go check it out?
Yes.
It's in that direction.
And Bonecarver sprints off.
And John followed.
As you're walking through the fields, shoving past some vegetation in your way, more corn, you break open into another field where you see these very large masses just like trotting to the other side. You think it might be cows, but you also see these two other shambling humanoid-ish shaped figures sort of lumbering towards them, and you hear just the soft crunch of hay being moved about as they walk, and you see one of them has definitely a pumpkin head.
Well, there are the other two.
Let's dispatch them.
Okay. Let me
So,
just...
how long between the previous combat and this?
I'd say only like a few minutes.
A bit more specific, because my shield spell lasts for 10 minutes.
I'll say you still have like at least 2 minutes left in that.
Excellent. That's like 20 rounds. That should do. I hope.
Hopefully. Well, if we haven't won in 20 rounds, we're dead.
Yes.
That, or they just can't hit your AC, and neither can you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, actually, I'm gonna see if the scarecrows notice you. It's their passive perception, does it say? And you're not trying to sneak around, are you?
No. We were basically running, so...
Okay.
Yeah, and when I see the scarecrows, I consider it, and I glance at John and just think like, well, that's hopeless anyway, so let's just go at it.
Okay, so the scarecrows notice you. You see the glowing orange eyes underneath their burlap head and the pumpkin head. And let's roll initiative.
Oh, joy.
2 fights in 1 day.
Oh! I rolled a 20.
I forgot to select my token again. I rolled a natural 1, so that's 2.
Well,
This is gonna be interesting.
yes.
Okay, so Bonecarver, you're up. These scarecrows are about, let's see, Pumpkinhead is 40 feet from you.
Because
Yeah,
counting is strange here.
yeah, diagonals and stuff.
Yeah.
Both scarecrows are approximately 40 feet from you.
Okay, so they're both just out of reach. Great. I'm going to run. Well, run. Whatever. Run up to here, 30 feet. Oh, wait a second. I might not need to. No. I'll throw my javelin at this guy.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
It is within 30 feet, so no disadvantage. There's a 14 hit.
14 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Amazing. 5 basic
Attack
damage.
the right one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So now there's a glowing javelin stuck in it.
Yes, there is.
Treasure rounds.
Lights up like a beacon. It kind of makes it look a little creepier, to be honest. However, you do notice that it doesn't really flinch from the attack. It appears that this one is just as resistant as the last one to physical forms of damage.
Bollocks.
Okay, it is this scarecrow's turn. It's going to walk up to you, Bonecarver, and you see that its eyes glow a little brighter as it stares into you. You feel something trying to overtake you. You will try to shake it off. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
If I fail this, I'm going to be so sad because John succeeded. 10.
Oh!
Bonecarver, you feel as if this creeping terror goes into your mind. It feels like something's digging into the back of your head and locks you up. You are paralyzed with fear. You cannot move.
Is that the only thing I can't do?
You are paralyzed. There's very little you can do.
I see.
This scarecrow's turn. It's going to just walk past you. Well, it can't really walk past you. It can only walk up to there. What's its speed? 30. Okay. So it's going to try and claw at you twice at advantage. You still have that shield, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your AC?
20.
Okay, so one of those attacks hits.
Wow.
However, what does it roll? Okay. Since you're paralyzed, it crits.
Ouch.
So that's another 5 damage on top of that. So you take 13 points of slashing damage.
13 points?
Yes.
I'm down.
You're down.
I'm down. Yep.
Okay. So, John, you just noticed Bonecarver drop to the floor as the scarecrow ran up to it and dug its claws into him. I forgot how much HP you had.
I noticed.
Okay, that's the scarecrow's turn. John, you're up.
Speechless.
John is just
Yeah,
like, I'm in
John
danger.
John is just, well, I'm in danger, Bonecarver's in danger. John is like, get away from Bonecarver, and he just rushes Scarecrow, and he is going to use his spear. While
Okay,
raging.
Roll an attack.
While raging.
Sounds good.
Sounds excellent.
Excellent plan, right?
Yeah.
Yes!
I don't have any potions on me, so... Right, there we go. Oh, God. Oh, well, that misses. That's an 8.
Ooh, yeah, that misses. I guess that's your turn.
Yes!
Okay, so I need you to roll a death save, Bonecarver.
Yeah, it's 1 success.
Okay, you are not closer to death, but you are a little closer to being stable.
Do not death.
Okay, this scarecrow, seeing that Bonecarver is no longer much of a threat, he's just gonna step over you and try to attack John. Okay, it's gonna try and claw at you.
Do they deal magical damage or non-magical damage?
It's basic slashing damage,
Okay,
nothing
good,
magical
good.
about it.
That will be half. That's something.
Does a 6 hit?
No, a 6 does not.
Okay, so those attacks don't land. That's it for this scarecrow. The other scarecrow is gonna do the same, try and attack you. Does a 12 hit?
That shouldn't.
Okay,
No, that
so
doesn't.
he misses 2. That's their turn. John, you're up.
Oh, God. John will keep hitting the already damaged Scarecrow.
Okay. Believe it to be this one, maybe?
Yeah, that's the one.
I've lost track of them.
That's 14. 14 hits?
Yeah, 14 hits.
Good, good.
Go ahead and roll
That's
damage.
12 damage in total.
Okay, 6
That's
damage.
good damage.
It does appear that made it angry. Was that your turn?
I'm afraid it was, yes.
Okay. Bonecarver, another death save.
Nope.
Oh dear.
1 failure over 3.
Mark a failure.
Now we're getting into the danger zone.
I did not expect this fight to take this turn.
No, me neither.
Well, you know, if you freeze me, that's kind of what happens. And roll apparently above a 20.
And this is where the DM remembers that paralysis is an OP condition.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Most certainly is.
Okay, so, same story with this one. I'm gonna try and claw at you. Does a 14 hit?
14 hits. That's my AC.
Okay, that's 4 slashing damage.
Divided
you're
by 2?
resistant right now.
Yes, divided by
Okay,
2.
so that's 2.
I can handle
Okay,
that.
so yeah, you only take 2.
2 damage.
You see the metal claws try to rake themselves through your body, but they don't really sink in as far as they would like. So that makes them pretty frustrated. The other one, try to claw again. That is a crit fail. Okay.
A crit fail. Oh, good, good, good. I was afraid of the crit.
Fair enough. Those hurt, apparently.
It tries to slash at you, but instead one of its arms just kind of locks in over like your neck, and you see just like the hand go limp as it disconnects from his body. And as it tries to pull itself free, it's missing an arm. It's kind of wrapped around your neck like a flimsy, creepy scarf. It's your turn, John.
Okay, since I'm going to attack recklessly.
Okay.
Ooh.
A 20 in total. Should hit.
Okay. Roll damage. These guys aren't hard to hit.
That's only 7.
Okay, that's 4 damage. This guy's looking a bit rough.
Yeah, but he isn't down.
You think a few good hits will take him out?
Yeah. That's good, Bonecarver. There's a 5% chance you will just instantly die, and I don't like it.
I know. So roll a 1 and dead.
Okay. Scarecrow. Let's see him if he lands an attack. 5 does not hit.
He has advantage, though.
5 does not hit.
Okay.
The other one was a crit fail.
Okay.
Okay, next Scarecrow. Gonna slap at you with his other arm. Does a 12 hit?
Nope.
Okay. These guys are rolling so many crit fails.
Except, that one time they attacked me.
It's still, to stabilize, it's still a medicine check, right?
Yes.
If he lands all 3,
Yeah, but for me, if I wanted to stabilize him, that's still a medicine check,
Yeah.
right? Just to confirm that. Yeah, that's why I haven't done it, because I'll probably fail a medicine check.
I think these
Fair.
scarecrows have heard stories of John's prowess.
They're
They're just
just
intimidated.
terrified. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're up, John.
I'll attack recklessly again. I need to take at least this guy down.
Okay.
I keep forgetting where all my buttons are. That's a crit.
Okay,
Ooh.
roll damage.
Does it automatically do that?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Okay, so that's
Oh.
17 damage in total.
Okay. The Scarecrow is hanging by a thread.
You're serious?
Or by a hay. You see like the burlap sack face is like starting to fall apart. One of his legs, it looks like it's about to collapse.
I just have my spear and I'm twisting it around and trying to kill it and it just won't die. Please, Bonecarver.
Okay.
I'm
Your
stabilized.
death save, Bonecarver.
Oh god, thank you.
You are stabilized. You are not gonna bleed out anymore.
Yay!
Okay. So, Scarecrow's turn. It's gonna try and claw at you at advantage. Does a 16 hit.
Yes.
Okay, that is 7 points before resistance.
So that would be 4
So
after.
that's 4. Yep.
John's still fine.
How you looking?
John's still fine.
Okay.
19 HP left. Still fine.
Wow.
Yes.
What's your hit point maximum?
You want to be a tank scrub? Get on my level.
I am perfectly fine. As long as, nobody rolls excessively high all of a sudden.
I guess one of you forgot that you are a cleric. Okay. The other one's gonna try and attack. 21 to hit.
Yes, that's.
So it's 7 again, so take another 4 of damage.
No, I'm slowly getting worried.
Okay, you're up, John.
That's my. Another reckless attack.
Okay,
Has to be 13.
that hits.
Phew. That's 16 damage in total.
Okay, so how do you finish him?
Quickly.
Okay.
I just stab my spear and just keep twisting it around until it finally, there's nothing left.
Okay, would you say you do it with a bit of brutality to it?
Yes, most definite.
Okay, then roll an intimidation check for that.
I would say no time for finesse. Intimidation. That was with advantage. I'll roll again.
Well, the 18 was the first roll. I'm
Yeah.
gonna count like the first one as
fair
the
enough.
yeah.
Is it paralyzed?
Okay, so that Scarecrow is thinking that it's in a bad situation right now.
Good. You should be worried.
So it's gonna try and run.
That does give me an opportunity attack, right?
Yes, it does. So go ahead and roll an attack if you want to take it.
Yes.
That hits. Oh, with the net?
Oh,
Oh.
actually, yes, I want to do that.
Okay.
Pin it down.
Does it do damage?
No,
or-
it just completely traps it.
Okay. That hits.
Does it
The
panic?
The scarecrow tries to run, and then it gets caught by the net. So now it falls and it's thrashing on the floor trying to get out of the net.
Yeah, I think that's restrained.
Okay, let me double check on
I'll
the net.
have to check that as well. I think it's restrained.
I've never encountered a net before, so
No one uses those.
Okay, yeah, it's restrained. We'll say that that's its turn. I'm just gonna remove the other scarecrow from the initiative because it is effectively
You
dead.
can also remove me because I'm effectively, well,
Down.
Out.
yeah,
Just having a nap.
powering up.
So, does it make it John's turn?
Okay, so that was your turn, right? Throwing the net on it.
No, that was my
Oh
reaction.
no, wait. Oh yeah, that was your reaction. So yeah, that's the scarecrow's turn.
Okay, so John basically jumps on top of the scarecrow, just stabbing it through the holes in the net, and just shout, "Just a stick! Just a stick!"
Okay, roll the attack.
I'd say that is reckless.
I mean, yeah, if you want it to be, you don't have to because it's restrained.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying it's reckless for flavor. Then it's 15.
Okay, that hits.
15 damage.
Whoa!
Okay,
Yeah, that rage really, really adds up.
so that's you said 15.
15 total.
Okay, so that's
Well,
8.
not total.
That is still a big hit.
No, these things actually they have a lot of health.
They do. It's almost as if you should attack them as a group or as a party or something.
Nah. John's a one-man army.
Or use magic to kill them with your spellcasters. Huh.
Who uses magic anyway?
I wanted to, but I was one shot. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get them close and use Word of Radiance, but I never got that far.
Okay, the scarecrow's gonna try and break free. Let's see if it actually does. It needs to roll a strength check, beat a 10. It does not break free with a 3.
Oh,
No.
It used up its action, and it's still restrained.
Get it to fire.
You're up, John.
actually, yeah. John lights a torch,
Oh,
and he's going
okay.
to try to set fire to the thing. He feels like his spear attacks are way too ineffective.
Okay, I'll say lighting the torch is a bonus action.
A bonus action. Okay, so can I try to use the torch to set fire to the thing?
Yes.
Okay, what want me to roll? What do you want me to roll?
I'll say this is an improvised weapon, so just roll d20 plus your strength.
Okay, so strength. That's well. I won't say that would have advantage, right? Oh, that's a strength save. Hang on. Which
Well, hold on.
is not the same thing. It
hold
need
on.
remove my so that's a 15 actually.
That still hits.
Just a 15. I mean,
They have an AC of 11. You don't have to hit high.
No, fair enough.
Roll a d6.
Okay. I don't have a macro for that, so I'll just roll 1d6.
Yeah, there's a dice roller.
That's 2.
Okay, 2 points of fire damage. Wait, let me see. Are they vulnerable to fire damage? Oh. The thing catches fire. It screeches loudly, as instead of 2 points, it takes 4 points of fire damage.
God, thanks. Still, 4 damage is peanuts.
Yeah, so...
But
I
it
mean-
is now on fire.
Yeah, does it burn?
Uh,
Does it actually burn? Because that was my intent. Really. To actually light it aflame. It's hay, right? So
You
it
know
should
what?
be-
I mean, yeah, like, logically speaking, it should catch on fire. Like, there's nothing here that says
It should be a dot.
it can't catch on fire, so... And since it's vulnerable, I'll say that it's on fire.
It's also not magical
burning?
fire, so it can actually put things on fire.
Is there a condition for being on fire?
There isn't really.
I'll say it'll continue to take 1d4 fire damage at the top of its turn until it decides
Cool.
to put itself
Yeah.
out.
Cool.
Okay, so it's the start of its turn. I'm gonna roll a d4. I forgot that it's vulnerable, so it takes another 4 damage. Oh boy.
Good.
This took a sudden turn. Like, this took so many turns.
I don't want to talk about it.
This is a roller coaster of a fight. It's gonna take an action to try and put itself out. I think that's just an action that it does. I forgot what sort of role putting oneself
I think you
out
can
is.
just stop, drop, and roll. Then again, it's restrained, so would it really be able to properly put itself out?
I'll say it does it at disadvantage, and I'll roll a d20 for this. So let's see.
At what DC?
Let's give it a DC of 10.
Fair enough. That's also the DC to escape from.
So let's see. 2d20. One's a 20, one's a 2.
Oh,
okay, so
God.
it's still on fire.
Oh, yeah. I want to say that's a natural 20 there.
That's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're up, John.
Since it's already on fire, I'm just going to try and tear it apart with my spear.
Okay, roll an attack.
Yeah, I'm still doing it. Oh well, that's not even okay. That's 20.
That hits.
Okay. Oh, hang on. I need to click there. 16 damage in total. That would be 8.
So, how do you want to finish it?
I'm just putting in my spear and then tearing out pieces with my bare hands. Basically, even though it's on fire, I'm just tearing out pieces with my bare hands.
We'll say that gives you 1 point of fire damage.
I'm fine with that.
And all that's left is mostly smothered and charred remains of the pumpkin scarecrow. And just like the other two, like the other scarecrow, you see both of these scarecrow corpses glow faintly and then go dim.
Okay, so I just stand there, panting, my rage ebbs away, and I'm just surveying the carnage. And I hoist Bonecarver on my back, he's rather heavy. I'm glad Jon is strong. As I'm heading back to town, I just sigh. Straw golems doesn't sound very impressive. Fire, yes. Fire golems. That sounds impressive. Then I just walk towards the city. Back towards the city.
How long am I at?
I'd say until, we'll say, you regain HP after a short rest. And depending if... We'll say, it takes Jon an hour or so to get back to Trollskull Manor. And around this time, Dare and Merrick, as you're coming in and getting settled into the manor, you see Jon and Bonecarver. You see Jon carrying an unconscious Bonecarver over his shoulder. They're both... Jon is mostly, has a few burn marks on him. There's definitely some soot on his hands, and there is a very concerning amount of straw all over both of them.
Dare looks up and says, "Pleasant evening, gentlemen."
Fire golems. 3 of them. And I had to fight them all alone. But, of course, that's easy for me. And I Bonecarver though. You should do. I wish you were there. I mean, it was terrible what they did to Bonecarver. Fortunately, it's a good thing I was there. And I think we should put the poor guy in bed. He deserves it.
You can roll hit dice if you want, Bonecarver.
Well, if they put me in bed, I'm probably just going to sleep till the morning.
Okay.
Well, it looks like you had a good evening anyway. Do you need a drink?
You know what?
Yes. Yes.
Do Merrick, Dare, and Jon stay up a little bit later
I think
to have their drink?
I think Jon just chugs his ale and then just goes off to bed to pass out.
Okay, so we'll say this happens while you're drinking. Everyone roll perception. Does Liv have stats?
I got a 6.
No, I still roll it.
11.
I have
Okay.
18 if I take the first one.
I need to check for Liv, because I think he'd be aware of this too. Or
Well, obviously
he'd
Marek
be-
isn't. He's
Marik's
concentrating.
already drunk.
He's concentrating on his beer.
He's been in here all evening just drinking alone.
I wasn't alone. I was with Liv.
Oh, fair enough.
You're never alone when Liv is around.
That got creepy.
Okay, Liv doesn't notice anything. Okay, so, Jon, you notice these scratching noises. They're coming from the back of the tavern.
I'm just see this floating head on our cliff. Do you hear that?
You see the hat being moved side to side.
There, Merrick, I'm not going mad, am I? I've seen fire golems. No, I'm not going mad.
Why? What's up?
I'm most definitely safe. Don't you hear that scratching? I just-
Maybe.
No.
I just peek through the door. Is there like a hole, like a peek hole in the door, or should I actually open?
There is a keyhole you can peek through, but I mean, it's your door.
I don't think John does keyholes. He opens the door.
Okay, roll perception. Again.
That's persuasion. This is perception. 7. Shame, my persuasion was awesome. 7 perception. 7.
You see these small figures bolt into the shadows, but you didn't really get much details from it.
Ah,
You just see them flee into the alleyways and turn a corner towards the street.
I close the door. Bloody kids playing a prank. And right, I'm off to bed, I think, and I just drain the final sips of my ale and just go to bed.
Okay, so I think now would be a good time to end today's session.
Okay, I feel really bad for Merrick. He didn't get any action.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mark's
Mark.
fine. He's hammered.
Yes, we'll wrap up the session here and see what... There are some loud noises happening outside.
Kids playing pranks.
We'll say that were the shadows. It was the kids playing pranks.
Yep.
Or what you thought were kids.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.